UConn women's basketball team comes into the 2022 NCAA Women's Basketball Tournament with as much momentum and as much hype as any team across the entire country. Projected as a number 2 seed in the tournament, coming off their 20th Big East tournament title and a 26-5 overall record, this team is feeling very good about themselves. They are as healthy right now as they've been at any point during this entire season. Everybody is playing well for them. The return of Paige Bueckers has brought plenty of energy. AZ Fudd and Caroline Ducharme have had fine freshman seasons. Nika Mule, Defensive Player of the Year in the Big East Conference, has had a good solid sophomore year. Olivia Nelson-Adota, Dorka Uhas, Kristen Williams, Avina Westbrook, those 4 seniors bringing great leadership as well. But the player that I want to talk about here in this video today as it pertains to UConn, and a player that's going to be very key for them moving forward into this tournament, is Aaliyah Edwards. Obviously, last year during the 2020 season, Aaliyah Edwards was one of the most important players for UConn women's basketball and a part of that core that went to the Final Four last year. And she had a very strong freshman season, averaged 10 points per game, was so consistent game in and game out, played in unison with Paige Bueckers in the pick and roll and the screen and roll game, had good connection and had good chemistry with Olivia Nelson-Adota on the interior. And coming into this season, naturally, we felt like she was due for an uptick in production in every statistical category. And throughout the first half of the season, we didn't really see that. We saw her hover around 6 points per game, and her averages were a lot lower, and her performance on the floor just was a lot less consistent than we were used to seeing during the 2020-2021 season. And really, when UConn hit that break at around Christmas time and came back for that second half of the season, Aaliyah Edwards started to play much better and started to practice a lot better. And that's something that Coach Gina Auriemma talked about, was when you practice better, you're going to play better. And she started to practice more consistently, and the performances on the floor looked a lot better as well. She has scored double figures in 7 of the last 12 games for UConn, 14 against Tennessee, 19 against DePaul, 16 against St. John's, 12 against Villanova in the Big East Championship, and there have been some other double-figure games mixed in there as well. But those were some of the top games for Aaliyah Edwards during the second half of the season. Her season averages are 7.9 points per game, 4.9 rebounds per game, 1.4 assists, and she's shooting 53.1% from the floor. Shooting a very strong clip right there as well. She's starting to find more confidence and more chemistry with the other bigs on the inside. And that's only going to bode well for UConn moving forward, because the thing they're going to face deep in the tournament are teams that have post-player focus offenses. North Carolina State with Alyssa Cunane, South Carolina with Aaliyah Boston, Stanford with a player like Cameron Brink, and a lot of other teams go through those post players. So UConn's going to have to become more and more consistent with their post players offensively and defensively. But the good news for them right now is Aaliyah Edwards is really at her peak for this season and is playing at a very high level right now. So UConn women's basketball going into the tournament as a projected 2 seed, and one of their top players, Aaliyah Edwards, finding more and more confidence, becoming more and more consistent.